Hi kids, today I'm going to be talking about keeping things separate, putting a difference between things. And I want to start by having a look, this time instead of putting our Bible verse at the end, I'm going to put it at the start because I want to have a look at the book of Genesis, you see there, chapter 1 and verse 4, right? And it says that God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Divided the light from the darkness. God made the light separate from the darkness. Now let's have a look at that. Here we've got something to symbolize darkness, okay? So we put that in. And there we go. There's a bottle of darkness. Now, we've got something here to symbolize the light. See, it's hard to open is what it is. There it is. It's clear. And we're going to put that in. So we've got the light and the darkness all mixed up together. Now, God said he wanted to separate, to divide the light from the darkness. I want you to have a look at what happens here. This will take just a little bit of time, but you can see they've separated out. See? The darkness is all down the bottom and the light is all up the top. You see, God wanted to separate light from dark. Light and dark can't stay together. You see, no more than the light and the dark can stay together in this bottle. There they are, separating out. And God tells us that other things should be kept separate too. Over in our other verse, in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 17, it says, "Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing." You see, God wants us to be separate from unclean things the same way he wants light to be separate from darkness. And you know, the same way he wants oil to be separate from water. And that's what we've got here. We've got oil and water, and they can't mix. See? You can swirl them round. Swirl them, swirl them, swirl them. And guess what? The oil and the water don't mix because they're separate. And God says light and dark can't mix because they're separate. And he said that Christians and unclean things shouldn't mix because they should be separate. Now, you might think, what's an unclean thing? Well, when you go out and play outside, you know what an unclean thing is. That sort of mud and muck and things that your mum and your dad say, "Don't touch that." But what about other unclean things? There's unclean thoughts, unclean pictures, unclean sounds, unclean activities. And you'll know what I'm talking about. And God says, don't take part in it. Don't do it. Be separate. Like light and dark are separate. Like oil and water. See? We swirl it round and they won't mix. They won't mix. They stay separate because God said light and dark should not mix. Clean and unclean should not mix. And oil and water, well, they just don't mix. Now, I want to thank you kids for all the really, really cool pictures you send in. I look at them every week and I think they are really, really good. So, there you go. Light and dark, day and night, oil and water, clean and unclean. They're things that should never ever be mixed. And that is the lesson for today.